Good morning and welcome to Creating Your Oasis. This is Candy.
I'm Brandy, and we are speaking to you from the Oasis Family Farm. Good morning,
Good morning.
everybody. So today we're going to start off with an astrology forecast, let y'all know what's going on up there so that you can be better guided and aware of things that you may be experiencing.
And feel comfortable that it's okay.
Right, I know that there's nothing wrong with you. We do have an eclipse coming up. This one's going to be really neat because it is the Ring of Fire. It's going to usher in the year of the fire horse. So it coincides on the same day that we have the Lunar New Year, is on the same day that we have this eclipse. And
wow.
It is I think it's a partial. I'm not sure if it's a full or if it's a partial eclipse. No, it says full Ring of Fire.
Oh, wow.
So, well, some of us are going to get the partial and some people won't even get to see it. So it just depends on where you're at, what you're going to see in the sky. But yeah, it's going to occur on the 17th. And the sun's not going to be visible. It's just going to be poking out around the ring of the moon. So
that's good. So the moon is going to come between the sun and the earth. Mm-hmm. This kind of thing, and awesome.
The moon is being rebirthed pretty
Gotcha.
much. So every winter solstice we have the rebirth of the sun, and every February is when we have the rebirth of the moon. So it's a reset of the emotional body.
Wow.
And so we have the year of the fire horse. So it's going to bring a lot of change, a lot of upheaval. So some people are going to have a lot of, emotions come to the surface that need to be cleansed, that need to be healed, so that you can transform them. You know, the fire brings in that transformation. Mm-hmm. It also brings liberation. So it's to free you from the past, to free you from things that have been just weighing on your heart and on your mind, to help you to move forward so that you can be more in the present moment.
So it's time to burn the bridges now.
Pretty much. It is. Burn
Once
the
you've
bridge
decided that that's it's done, it's burn that bridge so you don't return back to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the freedom horse,
That's,
right?
Woo, I take that.
It's going to be a fast-paced thing. You can
So
no longer deny
changes.
it.
Okay.
Yes, it's going to be, a little bit of an upheaval for some people, especially if you're not prepared. So we're just going to go ahead and put some things out there for you guys. And it's kind of awesome because it coincides with our message for today. Mm-hmm. And today we're going to talk to y'all about willing to change and knowing that you always have a choice.
Yeah, and they go together because you can't have change without choosing. I mean, people can be forced to change, right? And that usually doesn't stick. That's what I've found. If you tell somebody over and over and over and you need them to change, you can't force that. It has to be something that somebody actually wants to do before they can do it. And that's really the crux of a lot of stuff that's going on in our world right now, is people are like not willing to change.
Mm-hmm. And that's a fear-based mentality, people who are afraid of change, and that can you can be empathetic towards those people, because sometimes people are afraid of change because change meant something scary when they were younger. Mm-hmm. Let's say they always had their family was in the military, and maybe they were always moving from state to state, and they could never feel settled, and they'd make friends and then have to leave them all behind. So there was this never a sense of security and safety in that. And so that can be something that prevents people from wanting to change. Also, it can be a fear of lack of control, right? Because I don't know what this is. I know what this is, and I've experienced this. I've been living this life.
Yeah, it's the devil you know. I'm willing to deal with the devil I know rather than the unknown. And what could happen to me.
Than to step into something that I have no power over, and I don't know how to handle the situation. And, I can understand that as well. But we have to be willing to change and to make a choice. And you can shift that perspective of fear into a place of coming at it with a sense of adventure. Yes. And wonder, and having that childlike curiosity where you are open and willing to embrace something new, and having that faith, knowing that you're going to be guided towards something better, something more in alignment with who you really are, if you are willing to be brave enough and courageous enough to make that choice to go ahead and embrace something different than what you've had.
Yes. And that's that's where some of the stuff that we have learned over the years and stuff like that. Actually, a lot of it has to do with the words that you use, and that goes into creating. Right, we're talking about creating a sacred space and doing something where you feel safe and comfortable within this space, and you can be calm and you can regroup and center yourself. So it's words that you use in this part of it, like instead of the fear word, which would be, I'm anxious and it makes me nervous and it makes me afraid, you would use words like, oh, I'm in anticipation and excitement, and like a kid waking up for Christmas, because like everyone who goes to sleep Christmas night, right? Just that thing, or anticipation of like a wedding or something like this. You're getting married. There's always this excitement that's overwhelming, but you don't know what's coming after that. You don't know what gifts are under the tree. You don't know how this honeymoon's going to go. You don't know, over the years what will happen with your spouse, but you still endeavor and you try and you go for it. And that's how change, if you look at those things in your life, can be once you decide that this is for your highest good, this is for your betterment, is by making a change.
Well, I know it's hard sometimes because if you have a lot of unaddressed emotions and things of the past, that are linked to those feelings and those memories, that's what needs to be addressed, because fear is an illusion and it comes from a false belief, a false story, or a narrative, something that you perceived at the time, and it is what served a purpose for you back then. But as you get older, you realize that it may be something that's holding you back and preventing you from living the life that you're meant to be living, one that's more in alignment, one that's more happy, more joyful, more pleasant, because the fear is what prevents us from embracing change, from stepping onto something new, because we're afraid. It could also be a fear of failure, that, oh, I invested all of this into this and it didn't work out, and so we were afraid that, well, it was a waste. But it's not a waste, because you are learning something in the process. We're always learning, we're always growing, and we have to be willing to make choices even when they appear to be like very hard or very detrimental to us. And that's why having that sacred space, like Mom was talking about, when you create that oasis, you have that sense of stability within your own self, Turn your volume down.
I did. These are stupid announcements.
You have to, sorry, if y'all hear any noise interference, our shop is by a highway.
Yes.
So,
and we live on our farm.
You may hear dogs sounding off or vehicles driving by, and I hope it's not too loud on the microphone. But yeah, having that sacred space within, knowing that you can always depend on yourself, and that no matter what, you're always secure, that you have the confidence in yourself to overcome any obstacles, because you've been gathering tools, you've been gathering resources and wisdom along the way that's going to help you survive anything that may come at you that makes you feel like you're not on solid ground. You have that sense of awareness, that sense of stability within your own being that says, I got this, I can handle this, and I'm going to be open to whatever comes along the path for me, because I know that it's serving me and my highest good.
It's funny. Brandy's talking about that. That has happened to us over the years, and one of the things that happened with me in particular is that I was. This is what I do. I have had a great teacher with Brandy, and we have taught each other back and forth. Different things will come up for each other, and we kind of like bounce off of each other. But one of the things I began to do in order to see that I have always been doing this, I have always been changing and adapting, and I didn't even realize it till you look back on your life and look back at some negative times that you were afraid to make a choice, afraid to make a decision, whether that was a relation breakup, a marital issue, something with a job, going to school, all that,
family,
and you were just terrified of what these changes were going to bring. What could it do? What would happen? But you made it anyways. You had to make the choice because you were so uncomfortable. You couldn't do anything but move. And once I took those steps, and I'm not going to lie and say it was super easy to take that first step out, but once I stepped out of that situation and kept moving away from it, and the more opportunities that I took advantage of, the easier it got and the better it got. And now in my life at this point, as soon as I start to feel like I can't make the changes I need to make or something's wrong, I always view back and remind myself of how strong I am and look at how everything turned out. Look how where I am in my life right now and how I feel about myself. And that's all because I was brave enough, I was courageous enough, and just blindly followed in faith that this is what I needed to do in order to continue on and to be happy. Mm-hmm. And I can honestly say I've never been happier. I expect to be happier because I expect to continue to make changes. And even if they are hard and even if they make me cry sometimes, it still works out for my highest good and for the highest good of my life and the people that are in it.
Yeah, it's hard because we have to let go of our own will and our own, trying to force things to happen and force things to be the way that we want them to be. And, the Creator has something else in mind, or we have set ourselves up for a certain path or a certain experience here in this lifetime. And unfortunately, we're not all privy to what exactly lessons and what all experiences we signed up for because we all have amnesia.
I'm like going, I need to talk to myself about this next time around. I think they're going the easy road. Because this has been one rough ride.
And so you can remind yourself of things that you have overcome in the past, and that's what gives you strength, is saying, I have always survive through everything, and so I'm going to make this conscious choice to choose to surrender and to let go and to be guided along the path. And it isn't easy because it's like Mom said, it's a blinded faith, and it's taking that leap of faith and deciding, all right, it's a trust fall. I'm going to trust that this is what's meant to happen. It's not easy, especially when it involves having to let go of people in your life or to walk away from a job or a career and to make those major life choice decisions. Those can be definitely hard because it is a trust fall. But you have to have that belief that everything is going to work out. And if you're not holding that sacred space within, then you may stumble, and it may be harder on yourself because there's so much fear attached to making those choices and to change. And here's the other thing. You always have choice. You can always choose. So if you made a choice and a decision and it didn't work out and it's not going in the way you thought, you can choose something else.
And that's the thing, is that there's not just one choice.
Right. And that's it. You got to run this for the rest of your life.
I can never change anything else. I made my choice. I'm stuck in it. This is it. That is not true.
Exactly.
That just isn't. Life is fluid. It really is. You may be in moments where you're uncomfortable, and take notice of everything around you while you're uncomfortable, because there's a lesson there. There's something that you're meant to see. Are you repeating a pattern? Are you doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? Do you keep choosing people to keep in your life that do harm to your psyche, that do not allow you to expand and grow and let your wings sprout? I believe that myself, I am not riding that fire horse. I am that freaking fire horse this year. Okay, I am ready to burn this shit up. I'm gonna go
trailblazer.
That's right. Here we go. It's off and it's running, and it feels like everything suddenly is moving incredibly fast because we're moving into the middle of February, and it seemed like it was just like 4 days ago was December the 31st.
That's true. This year is already starting off in that forward movement. I think everything is propelling us all to wake up, to acknowledge where maybe we have denied certain things, or maybe just turned a blind eye to it because it wasn't something immediate that we needed to handle, and maybe things that we put off are coming to the forefront now to be finally resolved and laid to rest, so that we can be in a state of more peace, more in the present moment, more aware and conscious of our choices and our the power that is in our hands to create the life that we want to be living.
Yes, and understand that, we're not saying that everything in your life needs to change all at one time. Sometimes it begins with just really small changes, like a hairdo, or deciding on something for yourself, a new hobby, or a creative outlet. It could be those. It can be hard, though. It can be the bigger things. It could be you need to move because the neighborhood you're in or the neighbors that you're around, they do not allow you to to grow and expand and feel safe in your neighborhood and in your home life. You may want to move, or you may believe that what you're doing isn't satisfactory. You want to farm.
You want more country?
Yeah, because when we made our choice, it was huge, and it was a group of us. It was our big family made some choices, and we'll get into that on different podcasts and stuff in the future. But it can be done, and it's pretty simple. But you can also do something, really, really that you never thought possible. And once you start to encourage yourself and say, well, this is going to be okay. I know it's going to take me a little bit of time to get here. Painting a wall maybe, or sitting down and painting a canvas, and not criticizing what you did or didn't do, how good or good it isn't. It's just looking at the colors and the shapes that you put on there and seeing it for just an expression of yourself. Those are ways that you can just start feeling what change feels like when you start to just do one small thing,
one step at a time.
That's right. And it must be something that makes you feel good about yourself in the end. It's all of a sudden a door will open and you'll have an opportunity, and don't feel like you can't take that opportunity because it may affect others in a negative way. You have to kind of look at it and go, will it eventually bring me to where I'm supposed to be, right? Is this just a footpath that leads me where I'm going, and take it, because you're living this life for you. We've all been taught, especially as women, to live our lives for our families and for others. And there's no room for us until we're aged. And once we're aged and our families are grown and they're doing their things and they're not with us, if you haven't fostered some self value and things that are important to you, you find yourself very lonely
and lost
and completely lost.
Lack of purpose.
Exactly. And what was it all for? Was I just here just for the youth, just for my body, and now there's nothing left for me? There's nothing
to
for
sit
me.
around and wait for them to visit, and that's my life now.
No,
yeah.
Nobody wants to go through that, and unfortunately, our culture pushes that.
Even for men too.
Especially,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
When they retire.
Yep.
Now, what is my purpose?
Right, and as kids, a lot of kids run around when they're younger and stuff like that, and they live to be something that their parents are proud of, and they can't make any decisions or choices because their parents wouldn't approve of that. And really, the fact is that if your parents are loving parents and they adore you, no matter what you choose, even if they don't accept it immediately, eventually they come to terms with your strength in doing it, right? That you decided to go down your path.
Especially if it makes you happy,
yes.
They're going to want you to be happy. And that's the end goal, is for you to be happy in your life. And I feel like everybody
yes.
who truly cares and loves you in that way wants to see that smile on your face, wants to see you thrive.
Exactly. And you can't change anyone's opinion of you. You can be you, and people can change their own minds. But like we talked about before on one of the other podcasts, you can say something really simple that's meant to be uplifting and positive, and somebody can find a way to make that negative. Mm-hmm. And understanding that that's not your job to correct it. It's not your job to change how they feel. It's your job to be you and to be successful as you. And for people to see that you have a quality about yourself where you are really in charge of your own life. Mm-hmm. So with that, we hope you have gained some insights into yourself a little bit now with this, or ways to gain insight.
Mm-hmm. And ways to handle this upcoming shift ahead.
Yes, and not to be afraid when it feels like everything just happened all at once. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Just know it's okay. It's supposed
this is what I'm expecting, some changes in my life, and to be brave in the face of change.
Even the sun is doing it. So,
yeah. All right, you guys, we're going to send y'all off today with big hugs, big loves, wishing y'all lots of, insight and strength as you move forward.
That's right. And remember, you always have a choice.
Mm-hmm. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day.